Hello, hello. Welcome to week 3. So, as I was just saying, Aaron, today we are going to do a little bit of design work. We're going to design some 2D characters, and we're going to bring them into Unity. So, 2D asset creation of your own design. We're going to bring them in, and we're also going to have 2 animations for this character. We're going to trigger them through script. So, basically, when he's standing still, he's doing nothing or doing his idle. And when he's walking, the walking animation plays. So, a bit of implementation and a bit of design. So I'm shooting for a classic pixel game quality. Qbert, a classic, yes, yes, one of my favorites. And I've included this link just to give you a little bit of inspiration and kind of what we're talking about. Okay. This is Dig Dug. Yeah, you probably need a really expensive PC to play Asteroid. This is Dig Dug. You are this little fellow, this Digging Dug. Now, he has an idle animation that is just standing still. Oh. Yes, yes, I'm busy. So, as I am moving, his walking animation plays. He also has an attack. You can inflate these creatures until they pop. And it's all about digging paths. Hey, I did it. I succeeded or something. It's exactly like Minecraft. It's barely any difference. Throw away your PlayStation 4. Oh no! And then I'm impacted, collided with an enemy. We have a death animation. So a number of different animations will be needed depending on the type of game you're making. This is not a platform game. This is technically, it's kind of top down, but it's side on. You know what I mean? We don't have gravity. We're not falling. It's basically we can walk any direction because we're digging. But if you're setting this up in Unity, this will be a camera over your scene, over top, like God's eye view. Oh, inflate, inflate. Oh, dead. Oh, somebody mentioned Qbert. Again, different play structure here as well, not a platform game. Should we check what the keys are for these? All right, whatever. Bless you. There is Qbert. I have just died. So yeah, this is Qbert right at the top here. If I press down, I could jump. Oh, I shouldn't have landed there. And it's all about coloring every square. So it's kind of a puzzle. I use left, right, up, and down. Oh, I landed on a guy. I'm not sure if it's good or not. Animation, not really existent, just for when he jumps and lands. No, even then, it's just the still. The movement is the animation, so you're moving through space. But the structure, again, it's not a platform. It's actually semi-3D or simulated 3D, almost like you're on a ladder, up or down. Frogger, another classic. There you go. I am this frog. So, perspective of this one, what is it? What's our perspective? What's our viewpoint? First person? No. Third person? Where would the camera be? Are we... Yeah, we're looking down. This is from God's eye view. This is obviously the tops of cars. You can tell by the really incredible graphics. They are cars. Oh, a little lily pad. Oh. Yep. Oh. How good am I at this? Wow. No, dead. So, goal here, you've got 5 bays to fill. You got to get 5 frogs, 1 in each bay. That's a very simple on-screen goal. So what's good about these is the objective, our formal element, is immediately clear. You see the screen, and you've got your start point and your end point in a single screen. That can be very good for developing puzzle games. You don't need a tutorial. You only go, well, it's kind of obvious. You need to go up. There's nowhere else to go up here except these bays. So it can help with storytelling. Haunted house is an interesting one because my character is this set of eyes. If I press left and right, I can look left and right. I look up and down. How do I move? I'm not really sure. The keys aren't working, but I can do that. Okay, maybe not the best one to demonstrate, but an interesting character design because you're a pair of eyes. All right, let's move on to the actual design of this thing. We're going to stay in like pixel art area. And for that, I'm going to use a software called Piskel, and so are you. So let's start creating something. Just open the website. It's a web app, piskelapp.com. No, it's completely in your browser. You don't need to download it. Piskelapp.com. How many video games have I made? I don't know. I still don't know. I still don't know. Why do you ask? You want to know my favorite game or something? Or Assassin's Creed. That's a good guess. Assassin's Creed 2. Pretty good one. It taught me a little bit of Italian. Requiescat in pace. Rest in peace. In peace. I said that to the Pope when I killed him in Assassin's Creed 2. You get to kill the Pope. Satisfying. Requiescat in pace, papa. It's great. Probably not my favorite game, but it's very good. I'm currently into Game Boy Advance. There's emulators for Game Boy Advance you can get for your Android TV box. Pretty fun. So, Piskel. It draws just like using Microsoft Paint or anything like that. You can draw things in here. You have your different, some set brush sizes, 1 pixel, 2 pixel, 4 pixel, 8 pixel. A little color selector down here. And you can draw whatever it is you want to be creating. We have mirror brushes if you want to draw something symmetrical. Control, use horizontal. Shift, use horizontal and vertical. Let me just undo that. To create kind of concentric shapes. Easy. Fill. It's the bucket. You've heard of it before. Draw lines. Stroke. Shape tools make the shapes that they look like. I don't think I even need to do a tutorial of this. If I decide that this isn't a butterfly, it's actually a Mexican sugar skull with a pair of glasses. I can start using this shape tool to create some glasses. There we go. Oh, I'll go back to my line tool. Oops. Yep. Do you want to know? Do you want to know what it is? Yeah, there is. We can change the pixel size over here in our settings. So resize the drawing area right over here. So right now I think we're dealing with a 32 by 32 pixel sprite. You know, the 32-bit era, everything was stuck 32 pixel sprites. You can resize that, I think, all the way up to 256, maybe even 1,000. But if you want to double it, just resize to 64 by 64, something like that. And then click resize. You have a bit more space. This one might throw you for a loop because it's a hand. It looks like a pan tool, like we would have in Blender. Pan left and right. It doesn't. It moves the content around. And with the alternate controls, you press Control to apply to all layers. So there is a layer system in this, just like Figma, just like Photoshop, so you can animate separate things together. Sometimes useful. For this, the move will help me, because now I've decided that this is some crazy clown head with glasses. I might want to draw a body for him, so I want to move him up. I grab him, I can just move the content up. Or I can use the selection tool just to grab a piece of him. Let's say I want his mouth to open and close. And then I've got my move tool. Oh, maybe not. Yes. Hold shift and I can grab and move this up and down. I can animate the mouth kind of. That's an enemy. Done. Okay. we resize the drawing area? Oh, yeah. You have it by 6 pixels by 6. That's obviously going to be very small. What size would you like? 64 by 64, 128 by 128. That's what I want. 64 by 64. There you go. Are you using the eraser? No worries.
Sorry, how come you do a copy and paste?
Control C, Control V. So you have to select an area first with the tool.
Yes, but I'm doing it and
So first you have to like draw the box. Yes.
yeah.
And then Control C. It's probably pasting in the same place. What if I add another layer?
Okay.
Yeah. It's pasting, but in the exact same place, so it looks
Yes,
like it's doing nothing. Yeah.
Thank you.
So animation. The other thing we're going to have to do. This is what this window up here is all about. Add new frame is like adding another page of animation, another state. And all we have to do, like stop motion animation, make one change at a time in the frames. And how many frames it is and what speed we play it at will define that tempo. So we have an option of duplicating the frame or creating a completely new blank one. I'm going to duplicate this frame because like I said, I'm going to drag a box around this and move it up and then move it down and have him kind of chatter like a chattering skull. So duplicate the frame with this little copy. And I'll make a change. Shift. Move it up. Whoop. I'll go even higher, really high. And you can see in the corner, this is my current animation. If I wanted to move a little smoother, I gotta think about the in-betweens. If this is the extreme pose, sorry, let's close this. If that's my extreme pose, that's as wide as it's gonna get. That's my key frame, the key position. Of course, how big is that gonna get? And then my first key, that's how close together they get. So that's as extreme closed. I might even go closer. In-betweens are going to be the states in between 1 and 2. So I just add more frames in between. I can even do it as a breakdown, halfway. Duplicate this frame again. And now in this middle frame, I have to figure out between this and this. I think I can turn on something called onion skin. Common in a lot of animation software. It lets you see the previous frame as a ghost frame. So I'm going to turn it on. And there you can see I've selected frame 2, but it shows as a ghost image frame 3, the highest point. So now I can figure out halfway between those two. Just by grabbing this, moving it up, let's say about there. Slightly smoother, slightly smoother. We want smoother and smoother, just more and more frames to make it happen. So I'm just going to go through and add some more smoothness. This one should be further up, I think. And now it's just a little bit janky. But I kind of like that. Plus, only 6 frames to work with for this scary enemy animation. Take a few more minutes to practice before I move on to looking at the next part of this. Okay, so the next part of my plan is to add moving elements in front of the character and a body behind the character. For this, I'm going to need to create layers because animating with pixels and having the body on the same layer, you have to redraw it every single frame with the head. Same with the hands passing in front of the body, you basically have to redraw them perfectly with the body. Easier to use layers. So, two hands are basically going to do this, and his body is just going to sit there, not going to do anything. Over in the layers panel, right over here, I can rename this to the face layer. Face. I can add a new layer for the body. And I just want to make sure the body is underneath the face. So this little arrow here will push it down. So new layer with that plus. And then just rearrange. I think you just drag them below each other. So we just want the body on the bottom, the face in the middle, and the hands in front of that. So the hands can pass in front of the face. Hands, face, body. Body first. I'm going to keep using my same colors that I've already used on that face. Keep my palette consistent. Just draw something really simple. Okay, so that is my body design. I want this to be on all of the layers for the rest of the animation. And instead of copying and pasting every layer, there is a sheep tool, clone current layer to all frames for exactly this purpose. So I have 6 frames. It's going to copy all of them down here. This little body design. Oh. Now I do my preview. I can see, is that body looking right? Not really sure about that red behind it. Maybe it should just be all brown. Whatever. We can figure that out as we go. Yeah, I'm not too happy with that red. Something different. Maybe just good old-fashioned darkness. Yeah, that looks a bit better. A little bit. Hands next. That'll be a layer in front. So I'll select that layer. And I have to figure out where these hands are going to be. Why did I pick hands? The hardest thing to draw. Okay, first draw a hand. Oh yeah, and quick shortcut, right clicking erases. Quick eraser, right click. so I have my two hands. Now I just need to flip one of these horizontally to be the other hand. They'll flip right here. Alt flip vertically. Oh, it flipped them both. Damn. How am I going to do it? I have to make another layer, I suppose, for a second. Unless I can flip. No. Okay. Hack, because it'll flip the whole layer. Copy. And two. Paste. Flip. There we go. And there we go. Two hands in place. Oh, and this other layer I can get rid of. Okay, so the animation for this is going to be like a seesaw. If one is up, the other is down. The other is down, the other is up. Pretty easy. So I'm going to say this one on the right is going to be down at the start. On the left, oops, it's going to be up. In the middle, they're going to switch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, number 4. They're going to switch. Oh, I should copy to all layers. Clone. And then there's my current animation with just the hands, no movement. By number 4, they'll have switched positions, and then we go back around. It's going to loop. So they end in the same place they started. Down, 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 down. Up, up, up. Up, 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 up. Up, 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 up. You don't say that, no? When you're trying to get somebody to get in, like a kid to get into a car. Up, 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 up. I did that. Helps. And there we are with just one frame changed. We just need to add our in-betweens to get that motion to look a little bit smoother. What I'm doing is moving these. I've got onion skin on. I'm overlapping the ghost image, but I'm not quite there. I'm nearly there. Just a few gaps with 4 pixels. So up, down a little bit and up a little bit. Down on the left, up on the right. Very down on the left, very up on the right. So we come here. Then 4, 5, 6. So 4 is the absolute flip. Then 5, we're going to start moving again, until we end on 1 again. So 1 is that original position. So a bit of animation maths. We need to go from here to here and then way back up to 1 to loop around. 6 back to 1. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Looking at that all together. Now his hands we see bouncing up and down. Terrifying, terrifying beast. I'm gonna call him Butterface because he's a butterfly for a face, and also Butterface. And then we could do a little bit of movement with the body, like the body just kind of in, out, maybe even just 2 frame change, if we wanted. Okay, keep those 2 the same, and then these 2 up, up just 1 pixel. And even just moving 1 pixel, there's a tiny little bit of body movement. Just 1 pixel up on the body. Very little movement, but it'll add to it. All of it together. You don't need too much animation. And then the very last thing, before I leave you alone, if you're worried about, I don't know, colors bleeding into each other, because I've used the same red for the hands as I had for the face, there is a light and darken tool. This lets you grab pixel values here. Control, darken, shift, apply once per pixel, so it'll lighten. And it's just, oh. Kind of paint over it, and then you get lighten brush, or control, darken. This would be the light and dark. It just takes whatever colors you have and adds more black or adds more white to it. Turn on volume. Oh, I thought that was you did that on purpose. I was like, that's really impressive. How did you make it disintegrate like that? If we pop this out in the new window,
Obviously, there's a game called Guacamele.
Guacamele?
Yeah, Guacamele. It's like how can I say? It's a Metroidvania.
Well, leave the card for this next part of the class. Just anything.
Look, this one. I don't know why, but that character reminds me of one of.
Oh yeah. Well, as I said, I'm just actually mention that your frames per second is here, faster and slower. Means what it means. Oh, so in traditional movie animation, like Disney used to do with their 2D animation, they would generally animate everything on twos, which is 12 frames per second. Two frames per second is obviously going to take longer. Since I have 6 frames, 6 frames at 2 frames per second, how long is that clip going to be? My frame rate is 2 frames per second. I've got 6 frames. How many seconds will it take? Think like miles per hour, frames per second. 6 frames, 2 frames per second. What's the answer? No, 100 seconds. You're seeing it. No. 2 frames per second. 6 frames. Carlos? It's 3. 2 frames is 1 second. 2, 2, 2. 3 seconds. The standard in animation for Disney animation is 12 frames per second. So my 6 frames actually only amounts to half a second of animation at that rate. So it's all about what tempo, what speed you want it to run at. That looks okay at 12, I think. I'd keep it at that. But it's a half-second loop. It's just going to loop again and again. They're all on the same layer. This copies to all frames in the layer, current layer, right? We just want these to be all in one layer, or at least together in the same place. But you do want these separate, like the body and the head separate. So then we need different layers. So we have, this is a sketch, sketch, sketch. And we need this one, and this one, and this one. So 3 layers. And this is something else. Like, so 3 layers for this. Add, add, add. Say layer 2, head. Layer 3, body. And juggling balls. We know what we mean. Then I'm pretty sure we can just grab things, put down to the layer 1, copy select an area, just grab that, control C, select the head there, control V, that's on the head layer. Body layer, you have to go back to layer one. Pick anything, grab the body. You do this one, just draw a box around it. Yeah, no, just the body. Go to the body layer, because we're copying from layer to layer. Paste, Control V. And then the same with the balls, and then they will all be, there'll be 7 layers, but they'll be all together, like mine is 3 layers, it's one animation. So you have to go back to layer one to get the balls. The balls layer. You can hide or you can delete the layer one because it's got all the other pieces. So you can just delete that. And then that's it. Now, the other. Are we only on a certain frame? You have it. This is now where you want to copy balls. You're on the head layer. We just click run to all current frames. Now it's on every layer of the head. Same as the body. We need to find what? Yeah, it's on frame 6. Just click the sheet. Great. And then same for the balls. You need to find the frame it's on. Yeah. Oh, is it crashing? No. Go to all frames. Now they're all together. You see the arrangement is wrong. The head should be on top. You need to move around in the layers. And then you just select and use those arrows just to let you drag. All together. And then you just have to move them in place. Okay guys, so before we take the break, just about saving the work. It doesn't save in your browser or anything like that. So if you want to save your work, you need to export it, save as a pistol. Well, you can. You can. For Unity, we use sprite sheets. It's a little bit better and easier to manage. But first, I'd save it as a Piskel, so you can open it in Piskel again later and modify it. This software. I'll give it a name. What did I say? Butterface. Butterface is his name. I'll save offline as a Piskel in the little save disk icon here. Give it a title and save as Piskel. And then generally what we do for use in Unity, you can save as a GIF and that will work. We're going to export next as a sprite sheet. Export. Sprite sheet export. And then once you click download, you're going to see in your downloads folder Butterface PNG. It's going to be a very small image because we were working on very small pixels. There it is. There's all of my frames of animation put together in one. And then in Unity, we're able to chop them up and use them as an animation. So one more time, for saving and modifying in Piskel later, save it as a Piskel. That's what we're using in this software, like the project file. For using in Unity, we need to export as a sprite sheet. So save right here and export with this little image here. PNG, sprite sheet. And yes, you can do GIF. Which is also just handy if you're working in a team, you want to send them the assets. They don't need to open Unity, just open a GIF, see it, or GIF. And you can just throw it into WhatsApp chats and say, look at my GIF. There he is. See how scary he is when he's coming towards you? Terrifying.